Hi, and welcome to the channel. Today I'm going to talk about breathwork, specifically holotropic breathwork, and how it had an impact on my life. If you didn't already know, we've been full-timing for almost 9 years. So welcome to the channel. Please like and subscribe this video to send it out, because I think one of the biggest things about the type of breathwork that I did is it allowed me to transform and really come into myself, start to create a rebirth of sorts. And if it wasn't for our travels, I wouldn't have been able to notice myself in these different locations. Most people are living Groundhog Day, essentially day in and day out. And so when they have levels of anxiety, have levels of autoimmune issues, GI issues, they don't know. They just assume that, well, this is just how life is. But because I was placed in different locations, because I went to different locations, that I most obviously was able to go, wait, I should be happy. I'm in Norway staring at the most gorgeous fjord. Why do I feel like this? It gave me the advantage that I could observe and go, there's something up. I need to scratch at the surface and figure out what's going on. So, if you're watching this video and any of that resonates, buckle up, because hopefully I'm going to give you some insights into what might be at the root cause of why you don't want to travel, try new things, try things that are spontaneous, fun, and joyful. So, if you didn't already know, breath work is an ancient practice. Native indigenous peoples of all parts of the world. And why this is so important is because we've been taught to disconnect from some of that ancient wisdom. We've been taught that we are just this body. Additionally, there's an element here that's important. Is that trauma, programming, whatever you want to call it, is stored in the body. And that storage of the body can start to have an impact, right? Thoughts create matter. And if you didn't know that connection a little bit, we can point you into Dr. Joe Dispenza's work to give you. Gabor Mate's work as well is phenomenal to start to connect some dots. But in this video, I'm going to give you an experience, give you an idea of what breathwork did for my life, how breathwork changed my life, the benefits of breathwork, and encourage you to give it a try. So, a little bit into my backstory without going into a huge song and dance in it. I had plenty of scarcity in my background that led me to really feel like I couldn't be safe and secure, and that's rooted in some trauma, rooted in some trauma with sexual abuse for many years, rooted in trauma with violence in the areas where we grew up, and some violence that happened to me. And so that left me sort of rattled and wired my body in many ways to set up for what was to come later in life. So the science behind trauma is actually quite simple. If you want more information on this, check out the Somatic Experience by Dr. Peter Levine. He talks about how trauma is stored. A quick description that'll give you kind of an idea of how that happens is I always use the cheetah and the gazelle story. The gazelle needs to run from the cheetah, is being chased by the cheetah, and it has a few options. The first is run like hell and get away. Second, it can certainly turn around and try to put up a fight. Generally, that does not happen. It's trying to run. Or the last one is it freezes and plays possum. In human and mammals, that is usually the one that causes problems for humans. And a big part of the reason why is because we don't do what other mammals do, which is literally shake off that trauma. And so what it does is it's stored in the body systems as well as the organs, the fascia, and the muscles. And that's stored over time can start to weaken the immune system, have chronic inflammation, and impact your GI tract, and otherwise hijack how your mind is acting all the time. And this is some of the things that I really encountered with some of the things that I shared. And it really came to fruition. And as I'm in my mid 30s, so now almost 15 years ago, I went through a massive adrenal fatigue. Now, mind you, this was the pinnacle of my business. We were doing phenomenal work. We had 150 students. I had 50 personal training clients. We had 4 children. Things were popping. My schedule was packed. We had a beautiful home, cars. Everything was great. I started to feel extremely run down, have high levels of anxiety, depression, and started having panic attacks really out of nowhere. I had no history of mental health issues up until this point, but all of a sudden I felt on edge all the time. I would go from apathy to rage, and my emotions were all over the place. And so what I did, of course, at that time, being a health, fitness, and wellness professional, I threw a lot of science on it. Let's figure out what's going on. I had leaky gut, leaky brain. All my markers were showing I had an autoimmune issue of many sorts. And so I started to really hack my nutrition, really hack my health and wellness through exercise and modifying what I thought was an intensity. I was overtraining and overreaching. And I thought that was the end of it. I started to make gains. It took me 2 years to really start to build myself back up. But thanks to the loving support of my wife and my family, I adjusted my schedule and took care of myself even more. After 2 years, I started to make a comeback and started to really put things together. And it really where I thought I was fine. In 2015, that's when Robin approached me about full time travel. Really unfold a little bit more, and I realized, oh, there's something else still at play. Like I mentioned in the story earlier, I would be in these beautiful places. I had no reason to be tense. Now, I did have some things where, as we started to do this and really broach another involvement in my career, I was like, okay, I'm going to convert to a digital platform. I'm going to travel full time. I'm going to sell everything we own and downsize to our RV and full time travel. That certainly created some conflicts and questions and rattled really what was my root chakra of that sense of safety and security. But it reminded me that there was something potentially that was amiss. That my wiring, I'm like, I kept telling Robin, I feel broken, like something's wrong. I can't relax. And so that's where I consistently really got to a point where I was arguing with Robin when we really should have been enjoying, especially 6 months abroad with our kids' backpacks. We had everything figured out, and I should say Robin had everything figured out because I was really too busy still worrying about the business and would it be there when we got back and arguing about just being a curmudgeon, just always angry. And Robin would ask me many times, like, you should just go walk the Camino and figure yourself out. I have the kids. Of course, that just made me more angry because I really prided myself on the father and husband I was, to the point that I was out surfing, shouldn't have taken a wave. I should have been, because I was so angry. I pushed myself. I'm taking this wave, and the board hit me in the eye. Almost lost my eye. And what it did was snap me into reality once again as I'm sitting in the hospital. Like, man, I have to figure this out. I have to figure out what it is that is amiss. And so we began, continued to full time travel. I went more into mindfulness, went more into yoga, went more into meditation, but I didn't discover the depth of where my body was or my wiring was until 2021 when I was at the Music at Sky Festival in California and I did my first holotropic breathwork. Breathwork. Now, one of the biggest things with holotropic breathwork is that first it's an experience that really has to be jumped into and can be extremely intense. But 100% of the time that I've done breath work with everyone and myself that have done it, it has been a positive, powerful experience. So I'm here to encourage you based on all the work that I've done on myself and the people that I've seen and helped. It is an amazing experience and it helped transform and make me more available for my family, make me more available in my life, make me more mindful, and help me help others even more. And so I share this story not as a pity party, but to encourage you to potentially discover what is out there. There's more than you know about yourself. That's usually what people come out of holotropic breathwork saying is like, whoa, I didn't really realize how much I was holding. Just some data. Look, it was pioneered by Stanislav Grof as a therapeutic breathwork style. It is circular breathwork that allows us to reach non-ordinary states of consciousness, and that's kind of a definition, but 100% of people would say that it helps you. And the translation from holotropic is to move towards wholeness. A lot of us get fractured through some of the trauma and post-traumatic stress that we tend to go through. So we alluded to the concept that trauma, pain can be held in the body and how that's kind of held in the body. And this helps us through a cathartic release of this energy. And it occurs through emotions, crying, shaking, through the combination of music, a specific circular breath work, and this emotional release, it can really make a powerful healing experience. And I encourage you to give it a try. Now, some of the benefits that I've experienced and that people have done it, that I've done some data on to research and figure it out, is expanded consciousness. Now, one of the biggest things is that it's really helped me to feel a lot more into the self, and that consciousness allows me to go, wait, I am much more. There's much more to this universe than just what we can see and touch. The emotional catharsis, like, really is extremely powerful. Stress reduction. I just feel the breath work has allowed me, and consistent breath work since then, allow me to just feel way more relaxed when I really should be. It's one thing to work out and always feel excitatory hormones, but if you're constantly in fourth gear and you can't bring it down to first, I always tell my clients, you can't live in fourth. You're going to burn that engine out. And so it's important to learn to shift it down to first. It was incredibly powerful. Enhanced mental clarity, improved emotional well-being, extremely powerful. Improved energetic levels, because I've been able to shift down. I can really tap into higher levels of fitness, exercise. My cardio, my strength is really boosted up since I've worked holotropic breathwork into my life and into the people that I work with. Heightened self awareness, cellular healing, improved sleep quality, improve resilience, strengthen resilience, your ability to adapt to things. Remember, that takes up bandwidth. A lot of what we hold down, it's baggage. And wouldn't it be nice to offload baggage? That's what holotropic breathwork does. Improve creativity. You know, a lot of our chakras, when you're blocked up with trauma, really hold up in resilience. It doesn't allow us to access parts of our brain that are absolutely critical for creativity. And improved curated mindfulness, improved intuition, which I really never had. My intuition was always like, don't take risk, because I was always quite fearful based on my trauma. So improved intuition, and then improved spirituality. Again, a resound, being raised in a certain way was, I certainly had that, but now that feeling of more has been extremely powerful, and I've been able to convey that to many, many people. And so I encourage you, if this video resonates, go read the blog or send us a message, and I promise you we can change the trajectory of your life. Until next time, see you soon.